Welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors. Did you see that blue Lambo? Yes, I do have a goal here. One day we'll plot in the blue Lambo, but welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors. My name is Chris. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, bringing it to you here from a gloomy, overcast Westlake Village, California, where we look at Bitcoin's price action, traditional markets like NASDAQ, S&P, and we look at gold, silver, and the dollar, and we cover a few of our favorite altcoins, but the main focus is Bitcoin. Now, Cathy Wood just said the stock market is in a bubble and Bitcoin will hit 500K. I don't know what her time frame is on that, nor do I even know why she is so popular, but I assume she's made some very good calls on national TV in the past. But here's how I would look at Bitcoin more on the macro scale, and I'll pull up a little price chart here on the weekly and take off some of this stuff here. And what we're looking at is Bitcoin's weekly chart. I mean, clearly in a massive uptrend there, right? But here's what I look at it on a macro level. Bitcoin likely to hit 250,000 over the next 24 to 48 months. That's over the next 2 to 4 years. And that's if Bitcoin just performs less than its average of 200% a year. So your downside risk is about 20% based on our blue buy signal, which is on our secondary chart here. And I'll pull that up on the hash ribbons indicator, which we did just last receive our blue buy signal on around August 7th. And what the blue buy signal says is that we've never had a new all-time high printed before a blue buy signal. Secondarily, we've never come back and broke the last daily higher low, which we've been going over this, is at about 38,000. If you back test this, it's come back down and tested within 7%, which is around the $41,000 region. That could happen, but overall, that's what I'd be basing the downside risk, about 20% from here. But your upside potential is 500%. 500%. Where can you get that kind of risk versus reward? Maybe Ethereum. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But what I will do is jump into some of our underlying market dynamics, which we do like to look at. Bitcoin dominance here is coming in stuck at a 41, which you can see here. And it does look like we're getting a little bounce off this region here, but trend is down, right? Lower lows, lower highs, and trend is down for Bitcoin dominance. And that does support the theory. If Bitcoin dominance takes another leg down, altcoins are set to gain. Now, what else do we have here? We've got the Fear and Greed Index. The crypto Fear and Greed Index, not the stock market. And we're popping up here from yesterday at about 40, and we're at about 53 today. Saying people are more in the neutral zone. Open interest is up from 9 billion to 9 billion to 40, from 9 billion to 10.2 billion. And we are seeing that funding rates are negative, suggesting more shorts than long positions at the moment. And we got the global leverage ratio is creeping up from 0.14 to 0.16. Doesn't really get into the frothy territory until we get above 0.17. And let's get back into those price action charts themselves. So the first thing I want to point out here is on the 4-hour, on the CME charts here, which I'm going to take off those Bollinger Bands and get back onto my normal charts here. Bear with me just a second here. So 4-hour CMEs. What do we see here? We did get the break above 47,000, giving us the upside bias towards about 49. Didn't quite reach it there. But what we did get up to is about 48.5, which that was kind of a medium-term target. And what happens when you break resistance, right? you come up and test the next level, and then you come and test support. And I know a lot of people sold off their position here on this low, and I don't know why people do that. Why sell on the bottom side of the range, or why sell at support? Probably because we do all the same thing. We get our emotions involved. People get to, to get married to their ideas. And what I like to, remind everybody, Bitcoin does not love or hate you. It's an inanimate object. And frankly, it's just neutral. And more importantly with this, Bitcoin is closing above all of our major moving averages on the daily. So we are back above all major moving averages. And I'm looking at this more or less as a bear trap coming from this region down here. Now, remember, we did have the daily closure above 46,000. And this drive here was the continuation. So that was above 46,000 right there. We closed at 46.5. And that's where we saw the continuation drive from that move. And we did see, in fact, the same thing on Ethereum. We had this descending triangle, and we hit the major move, right? I mean, right to the money here at 36,000. Short-term pullback, and that's getting bought right back up. But back onto our Bitcoin chart here. And again, this is, something else I want to point out is, of course, Bitcoin is still below 50,000 and hasn't had a daily closure above 49,000. And we are still below the 618 Fibonacci retracement, coming in at, call it 49,500. So that does leave us still open to the idea this could be a bull trap. With that said, I don't think so. I don't think that's what's happening here, but my opinion doesn't matter. And remember, as a trader, it doesn't matter what my opinion is. What matters as a trader is how to identify a point of failure or a point of continuation. And simply by letting the way we do that, we let the price action charts speak for themselves. We don't let our opinions speak, right? And so where would I identify that point of failure? Any daily or 12-hour closure below 47,000, our last daily low, which is yesterday's low. And I'd be fairly confident in saying if we do get a move down, a closure on a 12-hour or a daily below 47,000, I would say fairly confidently we get a move down to 43 or 42,500, maybe even 40,000 bucks. And I do think that will be the lows for this month, quite possibly the low for the year or for Bitcoin's entire, the rest of its history. But again, trend, momentum, and volatility, those are the things that we want to be looking at. Trend, momentum, and volatility. And on the daily time frame, we did have trend averted here with this lower low. However, so trend was averted on the daily time frame. However, volatility and momentum are turned up here. So volatility, and I'll bring it back in our spot action chart. Volatility is expanding from a very low region. And if we can get above 50% and we're expanding from that low region, I would say that looks really, really good. I'd say we're looking for that continuation move. Stokes, our momentum indicator, are crossed up. So we got momentum crossing to the upside. And so here's what we can do. Let's go to a higher term time frame for Bitcoin. And how do we do that? Well, 2-day, 3-day, 5-day. The 2-day, we've still got, we still have the uptrend, higher lows, higher highs. The 3-day, we still got higher lows, higher highs. And more importantly, the 5-day, a more powerful time frame, and these are all holding the uptrend, higher lows and higher highs. In the 5-day, we did just see the red 10 simple cross to the upside of the yellow 21, and that is confirmed on CME right here with the cross above there. And again, CME signals are stronger than spot signals. That's a very positive thing. I mean, you see the last time we had a cross up there, Bitcoin. So that was our last red 10 and yellow 21 cross to the upside. And what did that produce? Well, let's just measure it from the low to the high. And that was a 583% move. That was not a bad move. And you can go back and back test that. It doesn't get it right all the time, but we haven't had that upside cross in quite some time. The other thing I want to point out is on the 3-day time frame, another powerful time frame, we did have a bullish engulfing candle. And what I would say here is this is very likely to beget continuation to our $49,000 region. And yes, I do think we are going to break that level to the upside. So essentially what I would say is, as long as Bitcoin is holding it up on the daily above 47,000 on the CMEs, I would say even a daily or a 12-hour, I'm more or less looking at this as a major low, which was just put in right in front of our very faces. So again, let's keep a very close eye here on Bitcoin, and let's check out a few of our favorite altcoins. And what's the first one? The first one I'm looking at here is our Ethereum. Ethereum, number 2 by market cap, did break the range here, and it's already hit our target of 3,600 off this ascending triangle. And any kind of a daily 12-hour closure above that $3,600 pivot, I'm going to look for some continuation. And where would the next drive be? Well, let's take out our fib retracement tool here, wick to wick. And next drive, likely a closure above here. I'd be comfortable in saying we at least retest the highs. And if we get a closure above 39,056, call it 39,000, I'm very likely looking for the next move up to 4,500 and then 5,500. Very, very nice, and a very nice setup that we do have for Ethereum. Let's get back on to our Solana, which did have quite a breakdown and a move down to our 140 target, but it got bought back up. And what happened with Solana is apparently, and Solana is still on a testnet account. It's not even on the, it's very early in its existence here. I mean, the chart goes back to June 14th. So they're still in their beta testnet mode. And what happened is, apparently on their network, they were doing 400,000 transactions per second. 400,000. Now, to give you an idea, Visa and MasterCard, Visa only does 2,000 transactions per second. 400,000 on a testnet account, right? And it gets broken, gets fixed within 24 hours. I'd say that's kind of a bullish signal for, their testnet, blockchain hitting 400,000 transactions per second. I think that's quite amazing, in fact. Let's jump into Tezos. And what did we say yesterday on the daily? Any kind of a closure below 682, likely going to get us that move down to about 630. And if you look at the lower term time frames, we are getting, lower lows, lower highs, and I would expect continuation down to that, somewhere around 630 region. Could we get a bounce off 647 and hold it up from there? Yes, but this thing is looking rather droopy at the moment. Cardano, same thing here. We did say, if that bounce fails at about $2.50, likely going to beget more continuation to the downside. Let's pop in and take a look at the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 on the daily, we did get a fairly nice bounce so far. looks like we're getting bought back up here. And any kind of a closure back above 4,500, and I say we head back to about 45,000. Any kind of a closure below 44, 4-hour closure below 44, call it 4,400, and I'd look for that move back down to 44 and, possibly down to about 4,300. What is gold and silver doing? Gold back down below 1,800, taking a big move down on the 4-hour here, on the daily, taking a big nosedive down. Silver following gold, almost marching it down to the bottom side of the range here. And I would look at this as probably a major buying opportunity, somewhere around 22 cents. And again, if we can get a closure back above on a daily, more preferably a weekly time frame, back above 28 bucks, I would look for continuation. And where would our next target be? Next target, 32, 40 bucks. Yeah, I'd say we'd probably get a bounce up to 40 bucks if we can close back above 28.20. So with that, I'll be wrapping this up, bringing you some more live price action, technical analysis in the next coming days. Wishing you all a wonderful, blessed day. Take care.